So yeah, I moved here in second grade from California, and I guess some of my first memories were there's this little side patch at the football games, and I'd always be playing football, throwing the football around with my friends. And it was when like David Fraley, I guess, was the quarterback. Probably was some of my first memories, and then watching like AJ Alderman, Brock Hill, Hunter Orth, those guys coming up also were some of my like first memories, I guess. Yeah. I guess my dad has always wanted me to play football because he was a big into football and stuff. And growing up in Granville, like those high school games on Friday nights are like big things, and like you look forward to them every Friday night, going there and watching those kids play. And like from just a young age, me and all my like buddies I know have like wanted to like play on those Friday nights and be those guys that younger kids look up to. I always looked up to like all the receivers, like AJ Alderman, Brock Hill, Hunter Orth, and when I got closer to high school, and I actually played with them freshman year, like Jack and Jake Peterson. They're all like great receivers, and in Granville it's like an air raid. So I mean, like just like looking up to them and like thinking one day I can be them was like special. And I guess like looking up to them, like Brock Hill and Hunter Orth, they were both basketball, football guys, and that's what I was like wanting to be. And so like they were like big people I looked up to. And I guess from an early age, like watching the air raid, it like really triggered like my interest in like I've always wanted to play Granville football. So I guess our first memories was Love Week, or I guess in 8th grade I started going to a few of the liftings in the spring, but I didn't go to a ton, and like it was like different. It was like because I never really lifted before high school, so I guess going to those liftings was like it was like another step, and like it was just like a different atmosphere, I guess, for me. But then the first week of summer when football actually like started up and it was like you kind of had to go was Love Week or Hell Week. And it was just like brutal workouts, and like it made you like test if you really wanted to play football, and like it was just a difficult time. Well, I guess my first year as I didn't like Coach Waite was more like he like would do stuff with us, but it was more like the JV coaches. But then I guess my sophomore year I actually got acclimated and was like playing varsity football. He was the OC, so it was like a me and him, like we were like working together somewhat. And so I got to like see what he put in and like how much he put into the program, I guess. And because his offenses were like some of the best offenses I've been a part of, and we'd be putting up like 30-40 points a game, just like complete air raid. And I mean, it was just kind of special. Yeah, so after sophomore year I wasn't really too sure if I was gonna keep playing football. I don't know, it just wasn't like fully for me. So I guess like funny story, I guess when he sent out that message, I wasn't planning on going to it because I thought it was just something about lifting, and I was in basketball and I didn't really think I wanted to play again. And so then that morning I forgot about it, and I walked into the locker room before school with like putting my basketball bag in there, and he was like talking. I could see he was like emotional, and then like later, like they told me he was like, yeah, he resigned, and I was like, well, and I mean, I understood it. I mean, I guess I just wasn't as close with Coach Waite, but I knew how much he loved that program. He loved Granville football, so it was like it kind of hurt to see him walk away, because when you're a younger kid, you look up and you're like, when I was a younger kid, I was like, Coach Waite, like he's like the main guy, and he's like someone I guess you see as like you're like kind of like intimidated against somewhat because has so much power and stuff, and like not seeing him run the show at Granville Football was like gonna be different and stuff. And then fast forward like a few months, we were all hearing rumors about Coach Buttermore from Tri-Valley, like interested in the job, and I literally say to people, I was like, "There's no way. He literally he just made it to the state title with Tri-Valley. Why would he ever leave?" And then like a few weeks later, it happened, and Coach Buttermore was our coach, and I still wasn't sure if I was going to play. I went to the meeting. I liked him. He knew what he was doing. You could easily tell. And then one time I was in the weight room in the spring. I was lifting with basketball, and he came up to me and he like told me like that we should have a meeting because he knew I wasn't sure about playing, and we had a meeting one-on-one. He sat me down, and he like I guess he like kind of persuaded me to play, and I'm like very grateful for that because it's been two of the best years of my life playing football for him. And yeah. So I know I was like kind of nervous, I guess, because I was like a receiver and Coach Waite was all about like air raid, passing the ball, big plays. And so when Coach Buttermore came and he was like, we're going to like solidify the run and then pass will come, and I was like kind of nervous, and I think some of the other receivers were nervous also. But it like turned out fine, and he knew how to get playmakers the ball. And then he also brought Doak and Bo, who Bo has been literally probably the most important player for our team like the past 2 years. And he brought Doak in, he played last year for us and was a great asset and is going to be a really good football player next 2 years to come. And then Coach West, I can't speak highly enough. At first I was like kind of sketch, like I said earlier, because I wasn't too sure about like, I guess the offense, because like, I don't know. But as the season grew on, I grew to like love him as a coach, and he's like one of like my most favorite coaches that I've ever had. And the way he just like ran an offense, it was like kind of special to see, and he knew how to do it at a high level. I guess going into my junior year, I feel like the beginning of the season we thought we were all that, and we like the first game we like cruised by Hamilton Township, wasn't very good. And then we went to Zanesville and we like squeaked out a dub, which we didn't play very well. And then I think week 3 against Northern was a wake-up call that we like all needed, and Coach Buttermore like let us know that. And after that season turned around, and it was something that we needed, because that next week we played Johnstown, who we hadn't beaten in like 6-7 years. And I don't think we beat Johnstown if we don't lose that Northland game, because that Northland game was a huge wake-up call to like put us in our place, I guess, because I know a lot of people thought, I guess, that they were like all that, and it put us in our place, and we came out and we didn't even play that well against Johnstown, but we came out and beat them, which was big. It was big for the program. Yeah, so like 4 weeks pass from the Johnstown game, or 4 or 5. And the Valley game comes, and Granville versus Valley is the deal, legit. And so we were all jacked up. Like the year before, we lost to them for the LCL title, 1 touchdown game at our place. So we came in like with a chip on our shoulder, and a lot of hype built up into it, and I think we showed out and we like put a beat down on them, which was like, it was like super special for like the community, and I know I'll never forget that. And like housing that screen on like the first drive of the game, I'll never forget that feeling. And it was just great looking up at the scoreboard and seeing us like put that beat down on Valley at their home field. Yeah, I knew that was like a big goal for like all of us, because like that was something that Granville football has never done. And feel like the whole year we just strived to be that first team to win that playoff game. And I think we all knew we had the talent, we had the coaching to win that playoff game, and we eventually did, and we did it in like a really convincing fashion. Yeah, so I feel like everyone, I feel like everyone in our class knew that everyone thought the cross above us was like, they were the real deal, but I don't think they gave our class enough credit for what we did, because like we contributed a lot to that junior season, that success that we had that season. And I think they just like thought this next year we weren't going to be that good, and we weren't going to have like the type of season that we had the year before. So I think it put a chip on all our shoulders to strive in that off season to exceed expectations and like try to be better than the class above us. And I think that helped us all in the off season. And I know Bo, I feel like everyone was kind of like skeptical about what he could do at quarterback because of how small he was. But I think that drove him to be like a great quarterback, and he was like a leader in the LCL in like passing, and it just shows a lot about how much he worked that offseason to be better than what people thought. We go our first scrimmage against Sheridan at home, and I think everyone was uncertain of what was like going to happen, I guess, because we didn't know. I guess we were uncertain about how our team, because we had a lot of new pieces, a lot of new guys having to fill in, so we were just, I guess, uncertain. And we came out and we like played pretty well, and like we were like getting some confidence. And then we went to John Glenn, and then we went to Wheelersburg, which I think Wheelersburg gave us a lot of confidence, and it showed us in like everyone that like we can play. We're like good, and we're better than like people thought we would be. And then those first 4 games we played a gauntlet of a schedule. I feel like we played Marion Franklin, who was a really good team that I don't think that we went in like thinking that they were going to be like as good as they actually were. And then later in the season we're like, wow, that team was actually like legit, and we like had a tough time at first, but then we came out and we beat them, which was big for us. And then Clear Fork had a huge winning streak, had a new field that we were playing on. And I remember Coach Buttermore telling us before the game how he was on an interview with some Clear Fork radio guy, and he was saying how no one goes into Clear Fork and like beats them on their home field, and we like did it, and we did it convincingly. And I think that was big. I think that showed everyone like what we were capable of. And then we went to Eastmore. We played good as Eastmore, beat them, and then we went out and beat Johnstown, which was kind of a weird environment, but we went out and took care of business. And always beating Johnstown's big for Granville football. And so I think those first 4 games really showed everyone in the area what we were and that we were legit. So after week 9, I feel like all us players didn't want that to be the last game on grass, and that'd be the last memory that was played on that field. So that week 10, we took care of business against Watkins, and we were all just waiting, hopefully that we could get a home playoff game, and it turned in our favor, and we got a playoff game against Zanesville. And that Zanesville matchup, I think we liked a lot. They were kind of similar to us with the things that they did. And Coach Buttermore knew a lot about them. He knew like the game plan for them. And that Zanesville game was like one of my like most favorite games in like my time as a Granville football player. We just like played like every aspect of that game. We played really well, and it was just like only fitting that be the last game that was played on that field. And it was nice for us seniors to go off on that field like the way that we did, and be able to walk across that field after like that victory. My experience as a Granville football player, like I wouldn't have changed it for anything. After my first 2 years, I was like wasn't sure if I really wanted to come back out senior year, but I did. And even though freshman year, I like built friendships with like some of like my like closest friends, and like I developed relationships with people from grades above, like Patrick Jakowski, Bob Compton, Daniel Mestemaker, guys like that. And so like I still, even though my sophomore year I didn't like have as much fun as I really wanted to, I still developed relationships with people that'll last like a lifetime. And I'm like glad that I came out senior year, because these 4 years have been like some of the best times of my life. And it's just I just go back, watch all like Licking Valley junior year storied rivals, Zanesville senior year storied rivals, Jackson junior year storied rivals. I watch them all, and it's sad that it's over, but but I feel like it's a weird feeling now saying that you're an alum, because of all the guys. You're like one of the guys like Corey Becker, Brock Hill, Hunter Orth, AJ Alderman, David Fraley. You can like say you're like one of them now because you're like a Granville alum, which is like kind of a weird feeling, because when you're younger, you look up to them your whole life, and you're like one day like you want to be them, and then like the day actually comes. And it's just a weird feeling, but I'm excited. I've loved my time, and I'm excited to see the future, because I know they do have a bright future. Just like football has brought so many like friendships that I'm so grateful for, and I just love my time being a football player.